Last month I did a video on Matt Powell and I stated that he'd taken a job as Kent Hovind's PA because Kent Hovind was unfortunately in jail. It seems that, for the moment at least, Kent has actually avoided any jail term and he's still out and about making videos, chiefly being a response to the Matt Powell video I mentioned at the start. Take a look at this.
Good evening, folks.
Well, being on Whack an Atheist yet again has inspired me to descend onto Kent's channel and take another look at him. And quite amazingly, he's recently released a video where he claims that the Grand Canyon was created in just 1 week. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Right, back to today's video where we're delving into the mind of Kent Hovind and his quite alarming claim that the Grand Canyon was made in just 1 week. Hold on everyone.
One of the biggest lies they teach the kids in school is that it took millions of years to make Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon formed in less than a week. Don't let them lie to you, kids. Grand Canyon's a washed out dam.
There you go everyone, the Grand Canyon is apparently a washed out dam. Of course it's well understood that the Grand Canyon formed in around 5 to 6 million years. And that was due to, of course, the erosion from the Colorado River which cut through the layers of rock, a river which is still in the bottom of that canyon today. It is agreed amongst pretty much all geologists that the layers of rock that make up the Grand Canyon are up to 1.8 billion years old. To further bolster the argument, it is well understood and proven that the age of the layers of rock decrease the further you move up through them. Now, with all that covered, let's hear Kent's reasoning for his 1 week timeline.
Grand Canyon formed very rapidly. We had a dam right across here, across our lake, and several years ago, we cut a notch in the top, let the water start coming over the top. Within 4 minutes, the notch was 8 feet wide, and in 7 minutes, the whole dam was gone.
Okay, so your first piece of evidence is that a tiny pond that you built wiped out some soil when you made a tiny hole in it. Right, hardly groundbreaking stuff, Kent, is it? You're going to have to do much better than that.
Dams erode fast. Anytime the lake gets too full, it finds the lowest point, cuts a notch, and drains the lake. That's what happened at Purdue University. This huge dam was cut right across there, drained the whole thing in 15 minutes. That's what happened in San Francisco. This mountain range in the south and mountain range in the north, if they were connected, if you plugged up that gap, a great big lake would fill up in the middle of California. It got too full, went over the top, washed out San Francisco Bay, left behind the best dirt in the world, and probably formed that canyon 50 or 100 years after Noah's flood, and probably took about 3 days to make all that.
Okay, but isn't most of that stuff after human intervention? The Grand Canyon formed completely naturally.
Dams can break quickly. The Kaibab Plateau is about 45 miles wide and 60 miles long, and at 7,000 to 8,000 foot elevation. It's like this big bump I made here. If this was the Kaibab Plateau, if you plugged up Grand Canyon, which cuts across like this, a great big lake would fill up behind it. There was a lake that went all the way back to Colorado. Then it got too full, they found the lowest point, and it started meandering around, and it would start eating at the other side. Canyons always wash out from the far side in.
Yes, Kent, but this is rock we're talking about here. Water isn't going to cut through rock in a week, is it?
So there may have been some obstacles it had to go around, but it would start off on level ground and eat its way down until it got down deep enough to be at the bottom of the lake, to drain the lake. It probably drained that lake in less than a week. And Grand Canyon today is about 18 miles wide and a mile deep. And it's a broken dam.
As we've discussed before, people like Kent and Matt Powell don't have the millions or billions of years to play with when they talk about stuff like this. So they of course come up with a story that satisfies all their followers. However, here in the real world, Kent, your story won't wash. See what I did there?
In the summer of 2021, we had a big storm and this lake got too full. It went over the top right here. The water's running this way and it started eroding this way. All canyons do that. The water goes this way, the groove comes this way. If we'd let it keep running, it would have eaten a giant canyon all the way back here from this little bitty pond. It does not take millions of years to make erosion like that. Probably took about 1 hour to erode all that dirt away.
And even you are saying it, Kent, it's dirt. Honestly, to compare the formation of the Grand Canyon with water cutting a hole through a dirt road that you own is quite simply preposterous.
During the storm last summer, the water came pouring out of the woods here, came right across our little road, and began washing out this canyon in less than an hour.
Less than an hour? No way, Kent. That is positively rapid, isn't it? Well, that's good enough proof for me.
Did not take millions of years. Once the water starts moving, it picks up speed, going downhill, and it picks up gravel, sand, and clay, and it becomes liquid sandpaper. It can eat out a giant canyon like this in 1 hour. It does not take millions of years.
Liquid sandpaper? Oh, well, that's a new one.
Notice there's all nice, neat layers here. The layers would have formed during the flood of Noah, and we just cut a canyon in it in real quick with one big storm.
I love how they do a slow motion pan with the music as a way to try and convince you that what he's saying is true. Probably. I love how they pop that word in there as a failsafe. Totally hilarious. Yeah, it drains a lake and then creates a 277 mile long, 18 mile wide, 1 mile deep canyon in a week. Sure it does, Kent. Oh, come on now. You are seriously going to compare this with this? All of this would be much more amusing, of course, if it wasn't for the fact that Kent is totally serious. Yeah, our guess. A dam failed and gouged out a canyon in 45 seconds. It's coming. There's going to be a huge canyon on the other side of those trees, let me tell you. Right, dam failures are not good evidence to show that the Grand Canyon formed in a week. There is no way that any volume of water can create a canyon as large and as long as the Grand Canyon in those timescales. No way. Unless, of course, Kent, you want to set up an experiment where you can show us this happening. The very, very top layers of the Grand Canyon are a form of sandstone. So why don't you do that, Kent? Get a big slab of sandstone and run some water over it for a week constantly and see what happens. Well, there we go. Another fascinating edition of Tinfoil Tuesday there, this time obviously on Kent Hovind. I'm sure you'll see me again on the next Whack an Atheist edition. Thank you all so much for watching. It truly is appreciated. If you enjoyed it today, then please do consider subscribing, and you can also go and check out all the other videos I've done on Kent Hovind. There are many, many, many of those. And of course, if you liked the video today, then smash the like button as well. It would be very much appreciated. Thank you. I've been Simon Dan, have yourselves a great week, and I'll see you all on Friday for a brand new Flat Earther. See you then.